What's up, guys? My name is Lucci, and we're back yet again with another class setup guide for Call of Duty Warzone. Today, we're going over something that's a little bit off meta, but for some reason, I've been getting a lot of requests for, and that is the Oden. Now, the Oden in multiplayer hits super hard, and it has, I believe, the highest damage profile in the game. But where the Oden has a hard time and really struggles is its fire rate. So you got to keep that in mind with this type of playstyle and what type of build you're going to run and what you're going to have as your secondary when you are running the Oden. But I think in the right hands, the Oden can absolutely do some damage. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure today is that day you hit the sub button with the bell notifications turned on so you don't miss any of the future Warzone content that is coming down the pipeline. In addition to that, I do have a like goal of 50 likes on today's video as usual, so if you don't mind hitting that like button if you enjoyed today's content, it would be greatly appreciated. All the links to my recent Warzone videos will be down in the description below, as well as my social media and links to my Twitch stream, so you can check that out. Without further ado, let's dive into the Oden. Now, there are a couple of different ways that you can run the Oden in my opinion, and I haven't fully experimented with more, but I'm sure there are different ways that you can do this. But I found that this loadout was a good middle ground of not reducing my ADS speed too much while also having pretty good range, and obviously the Oden is very hard hitting, so you want to have some of that range and take advantage of it. So the first attachment we go with was the monolithic suppressor. Now you probably are thinking, hey, you could go with the gigantic Colossus suppressor on this loadout, but it does reduce that ADS and your mobility because it is a heavier attachment, so you got to keep that in mind. Again, I plan on experimenting with the Colossus suppressor and the Oden and maybe some different attachments to help with the ADS time, but that's for another video. For the barrel, we went with the 730mm factory barrel. Now again, you could go with the 810, get a little bit more range, a little bit more recoil control, or you could go with the 420 and lose recoil control and bullet velocity, but you gain ADS speed and movement speed. So this is kind of a more faster hitting Oden, but again, that fire rate in close quarters, I don't think you really ever want to be using the Oden that close up, so I feel like this attachment for the Oden, not really my cup of tea. So I went with the middle ground, so I didn't slow myself down too much, and I went with the 730mm barrel. I'm not a fan of the Oden's iron sights at all. I know a lot of people that aren't as well, so I went with the GI Mini Reflex here for the third attachment. The underbarrel, we went with the Ranger foregrip. The Oden can kick quite a bit and get really bouncy, kind of like the AK-47 a little bit. So we went with the Ranger foregrip to really dial down that recoil control and bring the aiming stability up a notch as well. And last but not least, one of the Oden's biggest pitfalls is not only does it have a slow fire rate, but the stock magazine size is only 20 rounds, and the maximum you can make it, as you can see, is 30. So we want as much firepower as possible here, so you have to go with the 30-round mags in my opinion. Now, looking back at it, this is a pretty simple loadout. There's nothing too fancy that makes this stand out to me. There's nothing, you know what I mean? It's a pretty cookie cutter loadout. You got a GI Mini Reflex, you got some basic attachment. There's, you know, there's no tac laser, there's no stock, there's no rear grip. There's probably some things you can change up here, but honestly, I had a really good time with this loadout, and it hits like a truck. The Oden hits like a truck. The problem is the fire rate and the ammo capacity, but if you run a good secondary like we are in this build, I have the Renettis. If you don't already know what the Renettis are, you should unlock them and you should play with them, because in close quarters, I'm not going to say they're as good as the snake shots were, because I think the snake shots were still a lot more overpowered than the Renettis are. The Renettis up close, like within 5 meters, you're gonna dominate full teams if you play your cards right. So you could also go with an SMG with the Oden, which is obviously great for close quarters. I recommend the MP5 with 45-round mags if you're gonna do that. 30-round mags work pretty well, but because the Oden's already lacking in the ammo capacity, it only has 30 rounds. I feel like if you're gonna go with the MP5, go with the bigger clip. You have more kind of spray down range power. For my perks, I ran double time, restock, and amped with C4s and stun grenades. The restock is obviously good because you can just constantly regen your equipment throughout the game, which is obviously nice. You don't have to find more stuns, etc. Now, I have the Renettis as a secondary, and I'm not going to go into that today. I'm going to make the Renettis its own video detailing what attachments you need to be dominant with the Akimbo Renettis, and just give you guys that build as well. Just so you guys can get in and start using the Renetti, start getting some kills with them, have some fun. So I'm going to do a separate video on that coming up probably tomorrow for the Renettis. So keep an eye out for that. So that's going to do it for today's video and the loadout section of today's video. So if you enjoyed, make sure you hit that sub button with the bell notifications turned on once again, and drop a like for your boy if you liked today's video. Drop a comment down below letting me know what type of weapon you want to see me cover next and give you guys a decent loadout for. And until next time, peace.
Broken armor?
Hold fire, I'm not your enemy.
The Oden feels dirty.
I really want to stick somebody and kill him with this. See if it
Right here,
one-shot.
right here.
Movement.
Oh, Oden, why'd you gotta do him like that?
Right here.
Contact.
Planting explosives.
Hit farmer.
Throwing stuff.
Oh, he did.
Right in front of me.
Marked a target.
Oh, I just barely missed it.
Contract
Fighting someone
expired.
else.
We lost the target.
Got one down.
Hit one flush.
Two down over here, Yada. Underneath you, Yada.
Dirty.
My right.
Come back in.
Downed him.
John's gonna push
One's
one.
in my hangar, I think.
Got their attention.
Yep. Pushing.
Armored him.
Oh, cracked.
Downed.
One up.
Downed.
Nice.
I see the last one, just hold. He just ran across, I dinked him once. He's near cash, this side. He's gotta get Renettied, I'm sorry. What just happened?
Oh, that dropped so far.
Down. One inside.
I got Cubby's dead.
Enemy contact. Target down.
Oh, we're trying a little self-res, huh? Oh, they got RPGs by the door, careful about that.
It's a grenade launcher, actually. Should back up.
Oh, cracked on me. Oh, you just thirst?
Bounty
Man,
target
what a
is down.
bitch.
Well done. Your teammate.
Right.
He's holding.
Mark the target.
Target right here.
I loves it.
Cracked him.
Down in the back.
Bab.
I don't want you getting that
Front
res.
window, front window, front window. Left side.
Throwing stun.
I'm in here with you, Jay.
Check your
On the tractor in front of me.
contact here.
Oh my god, I barely missed it.
I have Daddy, I'm like flying right up on him, he's still here.
Sounded like he went inside.
Oh, he did.
Yep.
Oh no, the whole team's in here.
Fire on there.
Cracked one.
They let me get up and I downed another one. They're all on the bottom floor, dude. Maybe 1 second.
Down one.
Nice.
Final deployment.
Brittany.
Ready.
One shot
Your
this
window's
dude.
closing.
I'm watching for you.
Contact. Got him.
No slugs?
Yeah,
Another one's coming
he's
out.
building. Me.
Ready recon's online.
This is Falcon 3-0. Flyover.
On our roof.
I'm coming.
Throwing stun.
I just stunned myself. They're in there though.
Oh, I'm stunning myself. Ah!
It's team whip.
Hit.
Just
They're
one.
fighting gas over here.
The area.
That one cracked.
They got the army. Backside that shed still.
Hostile in the area.
Contact.
Down, back gas.
Oh! On me, on me, on me, on me, on me, on me, on me.
Downed.
Oh!
Downed.
Oh shit!
Only 10 are left.
Below me. Last one's below me.
You get him?
Mm-hmm.
Killed one.
There's a Mara left.
It's a long way
Gas
to
is
safe
inbound.
zone. Let's
Marking
get
new
moving.
safe zone.
Ah! I downed one inside!
Check your
Yeah,
fire.
did it. We just
ran.
I got it, and it was a headshot. It counted as a headshot.
What the f were we doing that whole game?